it could be a little bit of a slippery 18-minute session ahead of us. Go ahead and get everything propped up now. 12 drivers in the lobby. We do expect some more later. There was a slight delay simply due to the fact that there was, I believe, just some connectivity issues and guys not able to get into the lobby. But nevertheless, we do have to get underway, and underway we are. I think many of the drivers now just trying to figure out what their decisions are. There's murmurs in the chats that it could be not just a wet qualifying session. The rain doesn't seem like it's coming down too hard here in Singapore, which can always happen around this track, but it does appear as though it is just lightly sprinkling, so I don't think the full wet tire will be required. It is the intermediate for most drivers at the moment. The Aston Martin of William and the Williams of Alex are out on track first. And that phenomenal Gulf Williams livery that is just so phenomenal to look at, but you have to wonder, what will the pace be like? How much practice do these drivers have in the wet? You see the Aston there, the man now second in the championship. He's quite a ways adrift of Domar in that McLaren, who was so pacey last week, but still maintaining that second spot is William. And for Aston Martin, that's exactly what they're needing to see. They are trying to not just defend second in the drivers, but also second in the Constructors' Championship as well. They are holding on to both of those spots. They have a little bit of margin in each, but that so quickly can go away. Round number 8 upon us. We're off next week due to the holidays. With 3 rounds to go, you can quickly see leads evaporate, especially in standings, especially in races such as this one where the walls are so close. Any mistake leading to immediate failure in the race, as we see the Aston Martin of William now coming across the line to start our first lap of the evening, coming through the first of our 4 DRS zones on this track. If you recall, not too long ago, there was only the 3 DRS zones. They took out one of the chicanes that took us under the bridge and said, we're going to make that a straight now. They've done just that and said, we're going to put DRS on it as well. Try to encourage a little more overtaking. Singapore, different to Monaco. Monaco's very tight, very narrow. Singapore, you at least have a little bit of room to make some moves, and how many moves could be made in the wet conditions should the full race be in full wet conditions? Time will only tell. In terms of times, Williams going to be the first one to put a time up on the board this evening as he heads over the bridge in that beautiful green. Aston Martin whips it through the hairpin, tries to do everything he can to get the power down early, does nicely. A little bit of squabble on the exit, trying to get that rear to comply as he does so, and swooping into the right hand corner is the Aston Martin as you head down the newly acquired DRS straight, as he has a little bit of a moment, a little fishtail in that part of the track, in that sector 3, as he narrowly avoids the wall and now comes around the final corner on this lap. What will the original time be here tonight? A 1:39.6 to lead things off for the Aston Martins. I believe it's the Williams of Alex out next. No, he's gone ahead and invalidated his lap into the pit. Goes the goal. So go ahead, check out who else is on the track. We've got interesting thing as well. You can see legends on the left-hand side of your screen. momentarily, and there it is again. He's going back and forth between the soft and the intermediate tire. Maybe some indecision from those at the moment as to who could potentially get that soft tire, that slick tire to work, as Domar, a race winner last week. We'll get to more of him later. Goes ahead and it's a 139.1, 5/10 faster than his championship rival. Now in second place, go ahead and find the Mercedes of Kua now a fastest middle sector for the Mercedes, and not able to finish the race last time out in Bahrain, but some points paying positions for the Englishmen. But Mercedes, they could use a little bit of help. They're kind of stranded down in fifth. That battle for second in the constructors, as well, the two Mercedes jumped themselves into the top five. But the battle for second place in the constructors rages on. Aston Martin, Red Bull, and the Racing Bulls all separated by 20 points between those three spots. So a very important night, not just for those three teams, but if Mercedes wants to have any say in that before we head into the final three races of the season after this one, going to need have a little bit more to say. On board now with the Kicksauber of Sub-Zero Ace as he heads around this middle sector. Casper as well, one of the highly touted Swedes that show their head occasionally in Tier 2, looking to help his team when he can, and he's looking to do so far with Mercedes on pole by 6 thousandths of a second. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the achievements of Domar in the past 7 days. Pole sitter last week in Bahrain, winner last week in Bahrain. Then the next day, Tier 1. Pole sitter in Tier 1, winner in Tier 1. One of the few drivers that can say that they have won in 2 tiers on consecutive days. He's in Domar for McLaren, leading the way heavily in the Drivers' Championship. He could be potentially looking to put things away next week in Monza. If results go his way, he could potentially wrap up that driver's title nice and early. Focus on the constructors for McLaren. The lone McLaren out there tonight is Domar, but nevertheless, still that 66-point advantage over Aston Martin is William there. Speaking of Aston Martin, almost like he heard me, a 36.8, now the new benchmark with under 10 minutes to go. Casper as well. You see a lot of drivers starting to potentially favor that soft tires. Domar fastest now in the middle sector as that rain has definitely stopped. But what was a light drizzle before has now subsided, and the slick tire can finally come out of its heated packaging and head on to these cars. Domar now coming through the final corner. Ring light's still on. The DRS has been open this entire time. Significant improvements, 3.8 seconds up on his previous lap, and if that doesn't signal the rest of the grid to say, hey, it might be time for slick tires, I don't know what will. Those intermediates have to be screaming on that McLaren. We'll go ahead, and it is Gone to the Moon who's going to come out and be the first man on the soft tire, quickly followed by his teammate of Alex, and Golden Sniper as well has elected to do just the same. The soft tire now the preferred compound here with 8:40 to go in qualifying. Singapore always a wild card of a race. You never know what you might see. Sometimes they can be draggy, sometimes they can be exciting. It looks like we're already off to an exciting start tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Has Gone to the Moon as our first man leading the way on the soft compound tire with 8:15 to go in qualifying. The 35.2 is the benchmark. Can Moon find potentially up to 5 seconds to hit that pole time, or will it go elsewhere? Will it go to one of the forward drivers still on the intermediate tire? Time will only tell, and we will be able to tell you exactly in approximately 8 minutes time. 2 Alpines yet to set a lap. Legends and Sniper both on that soft tire as well. And it is going to be gone to the moon. We'll see how this soft tire performs. You can see there's almost no water now sitting on this track. And we know in Singapore before, these roads can be very, very treacherous. A street track it is. Public roads typically don't drain as well as purpose-built circuits. And gone to the moon, probably not thinking about that too much right now. He's got that rear wing open as the Haas of Jay behind him begins his outlap. Heading now into the midst of the middle sector, right on that outside curve. Very nicely done from the Williams. And he'll keep things going along through this middle sector. We're going to keep our eyes on not just Gone to the Moon, but Legend, Sniper, and Alex as well, yet to set laps. I believe they might actually be on laps as we speak. Go ahead and see if Legends can put in a quick first sector. Not quite enough for the Alpine. Big tank slapper there. Nearly lost the back end. Did the Alpine. Managed to hold it together. His teammate, on the other hand, just now coming through the third and final sector, trailing that Racing Bull in front of him. What original time was he invalidated? He might have invalidated on that final corner. Did he cut it too close? It was a 30.7. That would have seen him well on pole position, but not quite yet for the Alpine. It's Gone to the Moon. First soft runner there, 1:31.8. The new benchmark now with under 6 minutes to go. Alex will be looking to have his say about that as he does just that. 1:30.5, 1.3 seconds up on his teammate. We'll go ahead and see what everybody else is up to. Casper now also headed through the final sector. Fastest middle sector for the Mercedes. Does well to not invalidate, but has a little bit of a whip coming out of that corner there onto the final section of DRS on this track. It's a right turn, then 2 lefts left to go for the Swede. He comes around now. The final corner. Can he set our new pole time? He does just that, a 28.1 for Casper there. Mercedes will be loving that in the garage. Who else is next to come across the line? We'll go ahead right on board with Blitz as he comes through the rest of that final sector as well. This Racing Bull, every point important to them at this point, heads into second place. That is potentially a big lap for the Racing Bulls. His teammate heading into 6th position as well. Alex has, I believe, completed his, yeah, we were on board with his lap earlier, weren't we? William now following one of the Alpines by the looks. Coming through that middle sector, a fastest middle sector, 5.6 seconds up is the Aston Martin as he heads through the beginning of the final sector. Rear wing wide open. Right turn, keep it tight to the wall, does just that as it's a big left turn. And the Aston Martin will find 3rd position. He'll definitely, by his standards, want to do better than that, but pole time so far of a 28.1 is an extremely competitive lap from the Swede up top. Stark Diaz do potentially anything about it. I can't quite tell if he's on a lap or not. I don't believe he is. Go ahead and leave the Racing Bull to head back into the pit lane. A lot of drivers now, you would expect them to head back in. Another set of soft tires, likely what is required. And more flying laps on that dry compound. Sub-Zero Ace will begin his first flying lap on that slick tire. Just about everybody, aside from the Sauber, who's now invalidated his lap, so he's going to probably try to hurry things back in. Just about everybody except this Sauber and the Aston Martin of William, who presumably is headed into the pit lane, is still in the pits, waiting for this track to evolve, waiting for it to finally get to a point where it will be at its fastest. As that Casper has retired from the session, so our current pole sitter saying, that's good enough from me. What else do you have? Could his teammate find some time in his lap? It's an intermediate time from Kua so far, but a 37.0 is only got him in 10th position. He'll look to rocket himself up the field. Domar, race winner last week and championship leader to this point, is also out on track yet again. Ready to start his final lap is the McLaren, as is the Mercedes, as is now Golden Slipper. Fresh tires, fresh rubber on the Aston Martin, and a fresh lap about to be laid by Golden Sniper. We've got William has said that's enough from me as well. Jay out on track as well in that beautiful Tokyo Haas livery. He's got a Racing Bull in front of him. Is that Blitz that has just gotten out ahead of Jay? It most certainly is. So this gaggle of three right here, the two Racing Bulls actually are going to need to sort themselves out in agreements with Jay as they head into the final minute and change of qualifying. Go ahead and see who is going to be first to come across the line. It looks like Domar is going to get ahead of the Mercedes. Kua may be playing a bit of a strategy game here, trying to maybe get a little bit of a tow from the McLaren. Domar now is going to whip that McLaren through the final corner to start his final lap of qualifying. 9th place is a long way off of his lofty ambitions, as the Brazilian looking for another pole position to his name, looking to do so here on the streets of Singapore under the lights. A little bit of counter steering as he comes out of that corner, as the Mercedes and the Alpine head out of that same corner. A fastest first sector for Domar. Here on his final lap, a little lock up there, heading into the right-hander. Heading through the middle sector now. He keeps it nice and tidy right off the wall, as Alex has gotten himself into 5th, gone to the moon, up into 7th. That is where they will stay for now, unless Domar and some others have something to say about it. Sub-Zero Ace jumping into 5th position as well. That soft tire finally coming to fruition for the Sauber. Domar now another fastest sector. He's got a first and second sector to his name. They both are lit up purple. He is trying to light up this race once more in that papaya orange of McLaren. The right-hander, then the quick left, followed by one more left. Can Domar put it on pole once more? Yes, he can. A 27.9 leads the way. Kua behind him, getting up into the top 3 as well. A 28.7. Does Jay potentially have anything to say about this as well in the Haas? We'll keep an eye on a few of the other drivers elsewhere. Blitz has also yet to cross the line. He'll actually cross before. It looks like Stark Diaz is he's invalidated his lap. Will go ahead, get on with his teammate. He comes across the line, jumps Kua into 3rd place. Jay coming across the line will jump William for 5th, and that will just about do it for qualifying. Domar back on pole, looking to cement his title charge. Casper retiring before the final laps of qualifying will see himself on the front row. A Brazilian and a Swede on the front row here in Singapore. Blitz and Kua find themselves on that second row of the grid, with Jay and the Haas right behind them in 5th position. Confirmation there of the qualifying results. Top 4 split by less than a second. Domar just getting it on his final flying lap. And what pole position here could mean for Domar is another race win for McLaren and for himself. It would be potentially his 4th race win of the season. And we go a very, very long way toward his title charge, trying to wrap things up next week at Monza. But here you have it. There was discussion of it before, and it's the full wet conditions here in Singapore. Of course, a place right on the coast, but always associated with heat, always associated with humidity, and what humidity brings, what heat brings, is typically rain, and we have plenty of it here. We would imagine the full wet tire going to be fitted to all of the cars here this evening. So go ahead, just grab a little sip. Make sure that my voice can survive the first lap of this one. Ladies and gentlemen, we could be just about ready to get underway. 5 red lights, and away we go. The full wet tire on for just about everyone. Domar is a little slow off the line. Casper now up into the lead, covers off the McLaren. The Racing Bull around the outside of Blitz, just shown to the outside from Domar. They're 2 wide, 3 wide heading into turn 1 as they head on the exit. William now up into 5th position. Jay has fallen from 5th to 7th. A rough start for the Haas. He's got 31 laps of racing to get that one back. It's Casper from Domar, from Blitz, from Kua, from William, and Alex has made up 3 positions as well. You can go ahead and see the mixture of tires here to start this race. A mixture of full wets, intermediate tires. Nobody is sure what to do here early on as Legends falls down into 11th. They've managed to keep everything in one piece here on the opening couple of corners. Will that intermediate tire withstand the rain that we are seeing here in Singapore? Will the wet tire heat up too quickly? We've got 31 laps to find out, and Domar is going to try to hang on to the rear wing of Casper in front of him. Kua is looking to potentially line up a move on the Racing Bull in front of him. You can see the spray is not going to be favoring anybody here this evening, but a great start for Mercedes as a team. And how much passing will we be able to see in these conditions? We've got a nice train beginning to form from 1st down to 5th, and then from 7th down to the rest of the field just about. As actually Sub-Zero Ace has gone ahead and caught Alex by a little bit as well. Remember, no DRS here in these conditions. That rear wing will not open so long as the rain is falling and the track is wet. And it doesn't give any indication that that's going to change here anytime soon. Domar now on the intermediate tire, just keeping pace. You wonder if he's able to keep the temperature and he can make these tires last, but if those intermediate tires cool too much, it could turn into an ice rink and maybe even an early night for the Brazilian and championship leader. Farther back, Sub-Zero Ace is under pressure from the man who fell from 5th, now down to 8th. The Haas of Jay, could he potentially make a move intermediate on intermediate? Not this time around, as Alex has gone into the wall. I think Alex has had a moment, and Alex could potentially be out of this race, and I think he is. The yellow flag is out, but just in the area that he went off. The Williams out of this race on lap number 2. And you hate to see him go, but nevertheless, no VSC, no full safety car. Jay losing another 2 spots, potentially running wide, now ghosting, make it 3 spots for the Haas as his miserable start to this race continues. The beautiful Haas livery is doing everything but making up places here on the early laps of Singapore. As Domar now is as close as he has been to Casper, looking to make the move around the outside. Not quite happening this time. Looks to set up the switchback. Does the Brazilian. Is on the inside of the swing. Will go wheel to wheel as they're carefully tiptoeing around the streets of Singapore. They come across the line. Domar now leads this race with Casper on the outside. Blitz is interested as well. They're still wheel to wheel heading into turn 1, but Domar finally has the move secured. It's Domar from Casper. Blitz and Kua also interested in this battle in the top 4. William has found some pace in that Aston Martin, has joined up in 5th position. The intermediate tire has come to life here in the last lap for not just Domar, but for William and Sub-Zero Ace as well. Casper now, having led this race, has surrendered it right as we started lap number 3, but you can see he's almost pushing that McLaren around the corner. And he catch back up once more. Is he on the correct compound? He'll be saying in his head, am I on the right one? He'll be asking his race engineer in the game, am I on the right tire? Which one's faster? Who's faster? Who's fastest on track? All the information that the sleuth can get will be going into his headset. He's gone to the moon. He's going to pick up our first. Oh, he's going to pick up a crash. He's going to pick up not just a penalty, but he's going to pick up the wall as well. And surely wing damage on the Williams. Here on lap number 3 was maybe a bit of a brash